So let's get into this. Why trust? Why now? Let's do this public versus private. You know, I don't really want to get. I try not to get real heavy into stuff. You know, that's just one of my things. I don't really like to do that. I don't like to go over people's head. I remember when I first started getting into, well, maybe not specifically trust, because I've had experience, with corporations, and early on when I started studying trust, I saw the correlation with the administration of a corporation and the administration of a trust. But when I was studying banking and commerce, maybe the UCC, stuff like that, it was like really, really foreign to me. And I listen to people talk and they say stuff, whether it's nationality or civics or anything like that, it's just way above my head. So, this is the foundation. And with that in mind, I'm not looking to go too heavy into stuff. I just like to make specific points. And, when I say why trust, why now? I want to make it a point to address these specific questions because, coming across this information, beyond being novel or something I've never heard of or very, very interesting, or, it sparks my inquisitiveness or something. Why trust? Why now? Why me? So let's get into that. Obviously, I'm going to start off by saying I'm not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer. I do not practice law. I do not give legal advice. If you need legal advice, you need to consult a competent, legal representative. I speak on, from the standpoint of experience and education. So bottom line, here's what it breaks down to. And I find a lot of groups, individuals, a lot of, movements, they get involved in a lot of abstract, maybe esoteric ways of defining, what the beast is, commerce, the slave system, or whatever. Let me break it down as simple as I possibly can from my understanding. The real problem is, the real issue, here's the real issue. Here's the only issue. We accept and offer Federal Reserve notes when we do business, when we work, when we exchange our time, our labor for value. We accept Federal Reserve notes when we go buy shampoo, pay rent. We give and offer Federal Reserve notes. This is the whole foundation, okay, of this whole dance right here, in my opinion. The accepting and offering of Federal Reserve notes. You can't like patent or copyright dirt. You can distinguish between different dirts. This is, red clay dirt. This is black dirt. And sell the dirt. And you're really selling the dirt based off of, you obtaining it and, separating it. You're getting a presentation, maybe advertising it, and then, selling it. Okay, so cool. But, you can't patent or copyright or trademark dirt, yo. And here's the thing with Monsanto. Monsanto, they be patenting seeds, But, hey, They genetically modified these seeds that they're getting patents on. The problem with that is they're contaminating other crops, and then they're going to sue those farmers for using their patented products, and that's the issue. But whatever. I don't get involved with that. I just understand the legalities of that situation. So with that being said, Federal Reserve notes are, number one, it's paper, but the actual design, who created them, so on and so forth, those are owned. It's property. And because we use this property of the government, they have laws with regards to the use of their property, their Federal Reserve notes. That's it. So why trust right now? Let me break this down to you real quick. We've got the basic thing is the required reporting of Federal Reserve notes, dollars. The use of Federal Reserve notes brings along with it a required reporting, right? That required reporting goes on a form or a return, what we know as a return. And with that being said, from that moment, we understand that it breaks down to the entity. And this is where a lot of disconnect is from my understanding and my observance. There's not necessarily a tax on the use of Federal Reserve notes. There's a reporting requirement of the use of Federal Reserve notes. Depending on the entity that is receiving these Federal Reserve notes, there may or may not be a tax obligation. The required reporting of the use of Federal Reserve notes. So we have, whether you know it or not, there are lots, well, I mean not lots, but there's several types of entities that transact, that offer and accept Federal Reserve notes legally, without trading the Enemy Act or whatever. This is all about legality. And this is not an exhaustive list, but we have what we're all familiar with. And I'm gonna go with the terms that the IRS uses on their forms, the reporting forms for the use of Federal Reserve notes. I'm being specific. We have the individual. We have the corporation. We have the sole proprietorship, which we understand is a disregarded entity of the individual. So the IRS disregards the sole proprietorship as a separate entity of the individual. Basically what it means is the IRS says your sole proprietorship is not other than you. It is you. We're going to tax it like it's you. You're an individual. Sole proprietorship equals an individual. Okay. Corporation, sole proprietorship, S corporations, limited liability company, or what is known as LLCs, also LL3Cs. L3C? There's also limited liability partnerships. We also have charitable entities, nonprofit entities, such as hospitals, universities, museums. We have tax-exempt entities. We have trust entities and estate entities. These are, like I said, this isn't all of them, but this is the majority of the entities that are able to transact, offer, and accept Federal Reserve notes and must report the use of Federal Reserve notes. Now, the individual, which files a 1040, the corporation technically files an 1120. Sole proprietorship is also the 1040. S corporation, is that the 1120? I don't know if they have the special one. Limited liability company, it depends. Because that could be a disregarded entity, so that could be a 1040, or that could be an 1120, or it could, depends on how it's set up. Charitable, they do their own charitable filings. Nonprofits do the nonprofit filings. Tax exempt do the tax exempt filings. And trust and estates do their own filings, the 1041. Now, of all these entities, there are few, depending on, because I'm not going to say a number because it depends on if you're looking at both public and private, or if you're looking at just public, or if you're just looking at private. So there are few that are able to pass 100% of its taxable income to its beneficiaries, or to its shareholders, or to its managing member, or something like that. All of these, so you'll have you can have private estates, you can have private trusts, you can have private foundations, which are, fall under a tax-exempt entity in the private. So when you see Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Ford Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, Carnegie Foundation, Mark Zuckerberg Foundation, all these different foundations are private foundations, private entities that are tax exempt, they have a public tax exempt designation from the Internal Revenue Service. No arguing, no defaulting them out with an administrative process, man. None of that stuff. They send the private foundation a tax exempt determination letter. But that's another thing. Bottom line is, all these entities may transact, offer, and accept Federal Reserve notes. So they're required to report these Federal Reserve notes. Now, check this out. Any entity that owes its existence to legislation, basically, if first with the matrix, the nexus, the original point was created by the state. So your articles of organization, your articles of incorporation, your certificate of incorporation, your certificate of assumed name, all of these things, they have a state seal on them. They're created by the state. They're governed by state legislation, period. So the legislation dictates how that entity can deduct or make deductions, write-offs, what have you, to mitigate and reduce taxation on the income tax. Because every entity that receives income must pay tax on that income. That's what a tax is. The income tax is. Obviously. So once you have to pay a tax on the income, you don't want to pay the tax, that's tax evasion. That is against the law. Whereas tax avoidance is completely legal. So the individual, the sole proprietorship, the corporation, the sole proprietorship, the S corporation, the limited liability company, the public charitable entity or corporation, the public nonprofit, and public, tax exempt entities. These are all governed by public legislation. So recently, there was changes in the tax code. The IRS is saying, wait, people, professionals are saying, wait, we don't even know how it's going to affect individuals. We have a good idea how it's going to affect corporations. They reduced the corporate tax rate to 21%, which is great for corporations. If you got a corporation, you're probably not too upset about that. But understand just how that happened, positive for corporations, it can be legislated negatively as well. And then we just have to figure out what to do, go pay these professionals, what to do. Okay, so how do we do next, and how do I keep doing what I was doing last year, this year, as far as like paying my bills and stuff like that, because it's governed by legislation. All public entities are governed by legislation. So the legislation determines what can and cannot be deducted, what the tax bracket is, what it isn't. For example, corporations are only allowed to deduct 50% of business meals. So you're gonna go have lunch with a client or something, and you're having that lunch with the client. You're gonna pay for that lunch with the client because that client's gonna spend like $1,000 with your company or something like that, which means you'll probably take home around $5,000, and you'll do this in maybe 4 days. So you take them out to eat. Well, you can only expense 50% of that, even though that was 100% business meeting and a business lunch. That's an example of the legislation of these public entities. So why trust? Why now? First and foremost, we got to look at the public versus private. So that's why that's in the title or the heading of, the show. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to go do any of these things in the public capacity, good luck. And, might as well just figure out what you're doing and do what you're doing the best. Bottom line is, if you understand the difference between public and private, you understand that, I'm speaking on a private trust. So why do you do that? Bottom line is, a trust can disperse 100% of its income, of its taxable income, to its beneficiary. The individual can't do that. It just can't be done. Corporation can't do that. And then turn around and take a deduction on its return. This is what a trust can do. This is what a private trust can do, definitely. Why? Because a private trust isn't governed by legislation. The private trust, the indenture, the contract determines what an expense is. Not the government, not the IRS, not the state of Virginia or Massachusetts. It's a Massachusetts trust. So Massachusetts, I got to look at the Massachusetts statutes for trust, right? And I'm not saying that to be demeaning to anyone because, everyone thinks different things as they're coming into information. It's private. It's a contract. That's what it is. And that's where the power lies. The contract itself determines what is an expense, how much is allowed to be deducted on the expense, so on and so forth. It's just a reporting requirement for the use of the Federal Reserve notes. And in this manner, it's only with regards to the income, obviously, of the Federal Reserve notes. How it's taxed, and how the income is dispersed. Wow. How you do that? So really, it's very simple. It simplifies things. That's why. Why else? A trust can, the contract trust can avoid probate costs, any type of probate court, inheritance taxes, probate taxes, death taxes, gift taxes. Why? Because the trust never dies. And, if you know what you're doing, or you get with someone who knows what they're doing, when the contract is executed, it becomes a federal entity. Not under any of the laws of the several legislatures. That's actually like kind of a chopped up Supreme Court citation. Supreme Court justice. And if you understand the power in that, you understand why. You're going to protect your assets from litigation, from creditors. They're going to sue you. You don't own anything. The trust owns it. Sue me if you want. Go ahead. That's why. Why now? Because it's important. I hope you understand that these guys, this administration for the United States just changed up the whole tax law. Check it out. And no one's sitting right now today. And today, I don't usually do this, but I'm going to quote today. Today is January 17th, 2018. And I just read an article where they talking about they don't even know. And the IRS hasn't even released tables so people can figure out what the implication of the new tax laws are going to be. It's 100% up in the air. People got to make their mortgages. People got to buy food. People got to continue to do what they're doing as far as like supporting their families and so on and so forth. But I still have to go to work, so I can't stop working. So there's unknown implications with regards to, taxing of the income that you're generating off your energy and your time in traffic or on public transportation to get there or whatever you're doing. And your wealth, your energetic wealth is being eroded before it even gets to you through taxation, through withholding of taxes. That's why. That's why I trust. That's why now. Family member of mine is in the hospital. And it's not looking too well. In the scramble, I got some calls. Another family member went to this family member's house and took something out of there, and it's just a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on. That's why. Because, you never know when you're going to be incapacitated. You never know when you're going to go. It protects your assets. It facilitates multi-generational wealth. It makes it so much more easier for you to leave something for your heirs, for the next generation. And if you do it right, it's automatic. You can still spend all the money that you make in life and still leave something for your family. And not have to worry about putting something aside. You just spend all the money. And not have to worry about leaving something for your family because it's already being taken care of. You hear what I'm saying? These things are only allowable through trust. And I'm not talking about a public trust either. Don't go to your attorney and be like, I don't trust. I'm telling you, they're going to write it up for you. They're going to take your money. And at the top of it, it's going to say revocable trust agreement, not irrevocable trust contract. And that is a huge difference. Trust agreements fall under legislative authority. Trust contracts, the authority and the governing of the entity is the contract itself. That's an important distinguishment. Just trying to, help make the distinguishment. I mean, that's pretty much it. I want everyone to understand what's going on. Bottom line, as far as I'm concerned, we do things, whether with our job or place of employment or business or whatever. We exchange our energy on this earth each day that we will never get back, ever. A gift from our Creator, our ancestors, our parents, whatnot. Not from this job or the IRS or nothing. And when we receive that exchange, it's being eroded specifically because the entity we're receiving that exchange in and the currency that we're using to represent that energy in that exchange. We don't really have too much choice on the currency. United States dollars is accepted across the world at this point. A lot of people are calling for the fall of the dollar. It might be happening. If it's happening pretty slow. But right now, it's acceptable all across the world. I don't see that changing anytime soon. But I can definitely, and we can definitely, change the way we accept this currency. So in that way, it changes the way or the implication with regards to the IRS and the taxing of the use or non-taxing of the use of these Federal Reserve notes. And yeah, that's about it. I'm definitely going to go to the phone lines here in a second. I do want to say, definitely go to www. I mean, who does that anymore? Does anyone say the W's? Welcome to the foundation.com. Definitely. Sign up for the email list. Keep up with the information. Continue with your private education. Whether or not you can go private with the education itself, yet is not a determining factor in whether you continue your private education. It's very important. So, highfrequencyradionetwork.com. Welcome to the foundation.com. They're good resources to help you move down the path of investing in your private education. And I also want to say, I do assist those in their private transition. It would be an honor if I could assist you. If you're interested in it all, if you're interested at all, email me, admin@welcometothefoundation.com. That's ADMIN @welcometothefoundation.com. With that being said, I'm going to go to the phone lines. Appreciate y'all being here, yo. Things could be better today. But I definitely appreciate y'all being here. So with that being said, oh, my bad. We got about 9 minutes left in the show. So I'm going to take a caller or two, and then I'm going to close out. I'm going to get back to the fam. Things are kind of crazy right now. First caller, 718-8092. Area code 718-8092. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up? Who that mean?
718? Yeah, that's you. You on the air, peace.
What's the deal? How you doing? This Down from Brownsville. How you doing, Soel?
Oh, peace, Daryl, man. I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm over here just chilling in Albany Projects right about now.
Albany Projects.
Yeah, huh?
Is that in Brownsville?
I'm not.
That's not in Brownsville.
In the house.
Yeah.
Oh, peace.
You heard they say best in the house. You heard that, right?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yo, so, yeah. How you doing? How you and your loved ones?
Yeah, doing well, man. All things considered.
That's good. I didn't get it.
How about you?
I didn't get it. I'm all right. I didn't get an email from you. I don't think my sister coming on tonight.
I'm about to email you.
Yeah, I didn't see the email. I'm on an Android right now because at my Apple, I always get the email on my Apple, but all the electronic things been messing up lately.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Look, man, let me resend it. I'll resend it. How about you email me so I know I got the correct email?
All right, definitely. I would do that.
Just resending it if I'm sending it to the wrong spot.
Okay, all right. That
cool.
So over here, I'm just cooling out, relaxing, everything, and I'm back on track because I'm going to work full time now. I wasn't doing that for quite a while. So I'm working again. So getting everything in order.
All right.
I'm not taking on anything that's not my responsibility. I'm knowing my purpose. A lot of people don't know their purpose, and I think we as business persons or whoever we deal with, we have to know the purpose, the people who we deal with, and what our purpose towards them, and what where are we stand with them, because sometimes people, we're only good for some things. We're not good for everything. And a lot of them is not going to give us, they're not going to be fair with us. And being that they're not going to be fair, I feel we need to know our place. A lot of people don't know their place in business. A lot of people don't know their place in life. And as family members, as business people, we need to know where we stand at. And once we know where we stand at, we know how to proceed from there. Because if we knew how we stand in the past and how we stand in presently, we would know how we stand in the future. And a lot of people they don't know that, and because they don't know that, they make a lot of bad decisions. And once you know where you stand and you know your purpose, I think life will be better for all of us, and we will stop making bad choices. And that's what I want to say to everybody listening, like that,
Appreciate that. Yeah, I think what you said is important, or one of the things you said is important. Thank you for that. But you gotta know, sir. You gotta know where you are in order for you to know where you're going.
I have somebody want to talk to you.
Say it again.
I have somebody want to talk to you. Here she is.
Probably you that.
No, there's not.
Listen. I used to
Speak up louder. Stop. Don't be shy. She's shy. She don't want to talk on the phone. She's shy. But so L, I'm gonna let you take the next caller. Peace and love to you. And I'm gonna send you out the email. What time you? I'm gonna let you take the next call. I'm gonna hold up the line. And peace and love to everybody out there. And all of y'all know your place out there. Know your purpose.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in.
I appreciate you too, so Al.
All right, peace. Right, appreciate you. That's definitely Brother Darryl from Brownsville. Long time holding it down for the foundation. I appreciate you, family. Actually, I got some stuff going on, y'all. And I apologize, but I'm about to close out. I know I got callers, man. I don't usually do this, so please forgive me, and I apologize. But I'm going to end the show. But I do want to say that there's definitely an opportunity right now, regardless of what's going on with politics, what's going on with the Internal Revenue Service and taxes, and, the geopolitical climate, socioeconomic issues that may or may not be affecting you and your family. These things happen, and these things, in most cases, tend to persist. But what I am saying is the creative aspect, the creative part of our spirit, it's important to cultivate that. And in order to cultivate that, we need to be honest, fair, and most importantly, loving to ourselves. Because ingenuity and creativity and just understanding that you are a creator and thinking of how you can do something is the most powerful thing on this planet. And I know the times are turbulent, times are rough, we're going through stuff. But ultimately, like I said, this dude had he lost $44 billion, but he's still a billionaire. And yeah, he's a founder of one of these Bitcoins. But there's a lot of millionaires and billionaires, people who just put like $100 or so and bought some Bitcoin and just held it for like 3 years. And that was a gamble. And maybe it hurt. And maybe there's a lot of people who cashed out once it started skyrocketing. But if you put $100 in the Bitcoin, it's in a certain time period, it's very easy that you would have, close to $500,000. And that's important. That's being creative. It's doing something different. And it's important that we get into the habit of being creative and doing things differently. Because as we continue to live, we are going to see that creativity is going to continue on around us. We're going to see this with, self-driving cars and technology. We're going to see this with more advanced phones, communications, travel. We're going to see this, with space explorations, and, all types of other stuff. And with these changes in technology, these changes in geopolitical climate, these changes in asset classes, these changes in understanding that, hey, maybe a cryptocurrency is an asset class, and we just need to ride it out through the correction. These things are going to happen. And if we're not being creative and tapped into this part of ourselves, there's a lot of stuff that we're going to miss. And not because we're not capable, not because we're not smart enough, and definitely not because we're not capable. I mean, not capable, but definitely not because that we don't have the ability. But just because we didn't act on it or we didn't cultivate it. So that's definitely the type of message that I would want to leave as we close out, this episode. And that is this. Things are going to continue to change. Some are going to be good, perceivably. Some are going to be bad. And that's okay. Bottom line is that if we can stay aware, keep studying, be good to ourselves, enjoy ourselves, and love others, we're going to be more than all right. Somebody told me about some cryptocurrency, someone that I cared about, someone that I trusted for real, and someone who trusted me. And if it wasn't for this person telling me nothing, I wouldn't have done a thing. But I did, and I did what they told me to do, and I made thousands of dollars. And I got all what he told me to do, and that stuff lost half its value. So just be open. Be open to new things. Be open to new experiences. and be open to change. So that way your openness will allow you to be prepared and allow you to transition into this new, ever-changing, three-dimensional reality we call existence on this planet Earth in this current commercial system, as we attempt to exchange our labor, in essence, for value, to enjoy our lives, feed ourselves, shelter ourselves and the ones that we care about, and do good things all at the same time. Thank you very much for tuning in to this episode of The Foundation. I definitely appreciate y'all every single week. Once again, admin at welcometothefoundation.com. If you want to email me, you got any questions, comments, complaints, or if you just want to, voice your appreciation, I appreciate it. Welcome to thefoundation.com. At least sign up to the email list and download some free PDFs. Everybody likes free stuff. I know I do. And continue to work. Continue to get back up when you slip. And continue to invest in yourself. And I believe in you. I know you can do it. I love you and I want to see you do your best. We all want to see you do your best. No one wants to see you fail, and no one wants to disappoint you. Y'all have a great week. Enjoy yourself. Love yourself. Have some fun, at least once, on purpose. Eat some good food. Enjoy some good company. Come back next week. Holler at me. Welcome to the Foundation. Peace to the gods.
Doing this thing all the way live. High Frequency Radio.